Vintage Racing Hotline. A guy who pretty much ran the table at ARCA. He was the fastest qualifier. He pretty much dominated the entire race this past weekend at Chicagoland. Kevin Swindell joins us. Hi, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Not too bad.
Well, I would think that you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself. As I said, you pretty much had that entire ARCA field covered at Chicagoland. You must have gotten off the truck pretty fast and kept it up the whole weekend.
Every time you show up at the racetrack with the Venturini guys, we tend to be that way. And finally had a weekend where everything went right, and the car was excellent. It made my job easy to not make any mistakes. And when you put that together, usually you can turn it into a result like we had.
People talk about the fact when they have such a dominant car as you did in a lot of forms of racing, that they all of a sudden they start talking about, you hear every little rattle and clink and clank on the race car because you've got it so covered. Was that the case at all? Were you ever worried about whether you were going to make it to the end of this thing, or just everything was so perfect for you that you never even thought about that?
It's pretty close. I mean, you definitely you hear more noises and vibrations you get a little more sensitive to things. But there's a couple times when we got to slow it down there and the RPMs came down, and I started thinking the motor was going flat. And you get a little shake here and there, picking up a piece of rubber or something, and think here goes the tire or something like that. But just try to stay calm and make sure it was a real problem and think everything through before I got excited about anything. And luckily nothing was wrong at all.
Well, you had like we said, the great weekend, but it was a big weekend for Venturini Motorsports as well. Lots of hoopla around Chicagoland for that race team as well because of the longevity that they've had in the ARCA Racing Series. And Charlie and I were kind of kidding and making fun a little bit that if this was, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was so dominant down in Daytona and a big weekend for, Richard Childress Racing. Everybody would be saying that the fix was in. But here was Kevin Swindell at the Venturini, big party in Chicago. Was the fix in?
No, we've definitely proved that, it's not a fluke that we've done that with, we had probably the two dominant cars that Chicken has. We definitely had the two dominant cars at Pocono. So our mile-and-a-half stuff is excellent, and I look forward to going to Kansas in that same car here in a little bit.
It's really amazing when you look at some of the results that have been from Venturini this year and in years past. It's always been a great program, but it seems like it's really kind of hit the stride this year. Times it'll take 3, 4, 5, I think even 6 cars one time to some of these races, and all of them have been good. You got to take a look at that entire group. Big Bill, Billy, everybody there just puts some quality race cars underneath you, makes your job pretty darn easy.
Yeah, it's I always felt like the preparation before you get to the racetrack is the key to really having success. And as good as we show up, usually right off the trailer, just proves the amount of effort that goes into the setup plate and having those things ready to go when they get off the trailer and set them in the garage every week. So they do a heck of a job, and I can't thank those guys enough for making me look good.
Well, Kevin, you come from a family with you've got a heck of a pedigree too when it comes to racing with your the Swindell family. What are your plans now besides running some ARCA races this year? What's on Kevin Swindell's radar for the next 18 months or so?
I mean, I try to get back in the sprint car stuff as much as I can. Anytime I'm not doing the stock car stuff, I try to find something to do, and got a deal together to run the 360 Nationals at Knoxville next weekend, and then hopefully just trying to get some stuff together for the 410 too. So anytime I'm not running the stock car, I'm trying to find something to do, whether it's a sprint car or midget or anything. So hopefully we can find some more sponsor money and get some of these guys interested and keep having the results, and maybe hopefully be able to run stock races, some nationwide races, or something like that next year.
It seems like there are so many guys that get their roots in sprint cars, in open wheel stuff, short wheelbase, lots of power, and it seems to translate pretty good into the stock car world. What is it about that, the ability to run well on dirt and run well with those short wheelbase cars with all that power that translates into the stock car world?
I think in a lot of aspects, technically we're not going as fast, in the sprint cars, but in reality, things happen a lot quicker. And I think basically really what carries over is we've spent a lot of time, making our reaction times, a good bit quicker than we have to in the stock cars. So when you get in a stock car, you really just you almost have more time to think, more time to plan ahead, and it's not saying it's easier, but it's just it simplifies some of the thought process, and it does make it a little simpler at times.
Well, Kevin, congratulations on the great weekend that you had at Chicago. Those come around not too terribly often, but when you get them, you got to revel in them a little bit. Best of luck to you and everything that you do for the rest of the year. We'll be watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That is Kevin Swindell, as we said, Mr. Everything this past weekend in the ARCA Series at Chicagoland.
Yeah, every time that green flag would drop, that car would just check out. It was gone.
I don't know if you
like it had an extra gear.
I don't know if you liked that question all that much about whether or not the fix was in, but you have to wonder. You don't wonder, I guess, but you look at the quality of those race cars that Venturini is able to put in and week out when they go to the ARCA Series, and again, it's a matter of the way that you've got 3 cars, 4 cars. As we said, sometimes I think they've taken up to 6 cars to some of these venues, and just over and over again, they've been able to qualify well. They've been able to race well. And again, we had Big Bill Venturini on not that long ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago, talking about the success that he has had in the ARCA Series and the way that they've really kind of run so well. And, I think it just really is kind of a way that they've been able to put a program together. It was the Venturini family, the race car drivers, and Big Bill was really a part of that. And then it was Billy who took over driving the cars, and then the decision was made, as Big Bill told us, that and Billy came up with the decision that driver development programs may have been the wave of the future. And I don't know of anybody who has done it as well in the ARCA Series as Venturini has done it. We've seen a couple of guys come and go for a couple, 3, 4 years, but I think really you consistently you talk about Venturini and the way that Venturini Motorsports has been able to put these cars out there and be so successful, and Kevin Swindell is just another in a long line of guys who have been able to do that. Steve Arpin, again, last year was able to do that as well. And I think you see these guys when they're able to find some sponsorship dollars on a consistent basis.